Hello, I'm Graham Elwood, and this is the Political Vigilante. Today I want to go over an article that was in the LA Times like over a month ago from Christy Parsons and W.J. Hennigan. President Obama, who hoped to sow peace, instead led the nation to war. And this isn't just like, oh, let's pile on Obama or whatever, because he did some good things, but we need to understand why we're where we're at today. And the military-industrial complex that Eisenhower warned us about. Back in the 50s, Eisenhower warned us about this. And Obama ran on the hope and change platform and ran on I'm going to pull us out of Iraq. I'm going to pull us out of Afghanistan. And he did. But he also stepped up drone strikes. He also accepted the Nobel Peace Prize right before recommitting 30,000 more troops into Afghanistan. And this article is a very lengthy one. I'm not going to go into the whole thing. It would be like a 50-minute video, but I'm just going to go into some of the highlights of what Obama has done, what he did under his 8 years, and how he's sort of reshaped what war is. Going from this, like, boots on the ground, troop numbers, to that sort of traditional area of war, to this sort of special ops, drone, never-ending, just missile strikes. There's just no end in sight. And it's a little disheartening. And it's led the way for now this lunatic Trump to do whatever he wants to do. Obama started escalating in Eastern Europe with NATO. Now, you could say, oh, is Russia acting, flexing its muscles and we had to react? But and I'm not like, oh, Putin is some innocent dude. But when we start provoking him, well, how do we think he's going to react? How do we think he's going to react? It's a little scary. So what Obama has done, I'll tell you this stat. He is the first two-term president to have been at war for the entire 8 years. First time ever. The only person who beat him, I think, was, I don't think anyone's beat him. Maybe FDR was a 3-term president, but I don't know that we were at war during all 3 of his terms. Maybe, I don't know. It's a great stat, but he's the only doing a 2-term. Yet the U.S. faces more threats in more places than at any time since the Cold War, according to U.S. intelligence. For the first time in decades, there is at least the potential of an armed clash with America's largest adversaries, Russia and China. Obama slashed the number of U.S. troops in war zones from 150,000 to 14,000 and stopped the flow of American soldiers coming home in body bags, which is an excellent thing. I was on a flight from Iraq with Scott Kennedy around Thanksgiving of November 2007, and we had been doing shows there for 2 weeks, and we were supposed to fly from Baghdad down to Kuwait. And we got diverted to Balad, and we picked up a flag-draped coffin, and that is one of the more sad and hard things I've ever had to sit. I was like 10 feet away and just sitting there. And there was me and this comedian, Scott Kennedy, who set up the tour, and then there's like these pro golfers, like Tom Watson and Tom Lehman, David Faraday. They were going around to bases like doing, it was a cool thing for the military to like get golf lessons from Tom Watson. That was pretty cool. And we were all on this, looking at this, and we were all like in tears. A bunch of grown men just crying because some family got the worst news. So Obama helped end that. So that's not a bad thing. I've seen it. It's awful. But he also has launched airstrikes or military raids in at least 7 countries: Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, Libya, Yemen, Somalia, and Pakistan. And it's just, I'll give you some quotes here. And sure, you might be saying, Graham, hey, as long as there's less American casualties, then that's the other thing. If these unstable countries can't fix their situation, we shouldn't always be sending troops in. If if airstrikes is what we have to do, then that's what we have to do. Well, I agree with the first part of that, but the second part, the airstrike thing, if you ever watched John Oliver from like a year or so ago, his whole episode on drones and how American drones are perceived in other countries, it's pretty horrible what we're doing, and we're not making things safer. We're creating more enemies of this country. Because imagine if you lived in your house and there was, let's just say, people doing criminal shit at the house next door to yours. They had a meth lab, whatever, and the government didn't want to risk sending cops to knock on the door so they get shot. So they just shot rockets and blew the house up, and your kid was playing in front of that house on that day, and your kid got killed. And the government's going, well, we stopped the meth lab. You're going to be like, yeah, but fuck you. You're going to be furious. So we've been doing that all over the world. So it's like, if we're not going to commit hundreds of thousands of troops, okay, fine, then maybe we should just not be doing any of this. But then the military-industrial complex doesn't get their money. Quote, the whole concept of war has changed under Obama, said John Alterman, Middle East specialist at the Center for Strategic and International Studies, a nonprofit think tank in Washington. Obama got the country out of war, at least as we're used to seeing it, Alderman said. We're now wrapped up in all these different conflicts at low level with no end in sight. The administration built secret drone bases and other facilities in Africa and Middle East and added troops and warships in the Western Pacific. It has also moved troops and equipment to Eastern Europe to counter the resurgent Russia. And, along the way, he quarreled with Gates, Panetta, and Chuck Hagel, his three secretaries of defense. And they all accused him of micromanaging the military. And it's really disheartening, and this is why we're in this never-ending thing of war, and Clinton was his Secretary of State for a while. She was part of that war machine too. And now Trump's just picking up where Obama left off, only with just crazy, unbridled, power-hungry mania. America has just been this greedy war machine. That's what we've been doing for decades. I mean, War is a Racket. That's a book that was written. It's called, I forget the author, but it was written by a general, like a World War I general. He said, war is a racket. And that's the racket we're in. And the thing like the drone strikes just shows yet again how America we're so disconnected from everything. Like, we were disconnected from the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. There was no draft. There was no can drive of the World War II. Everybody had to pull in and save their tin, and everybody worked. The women worked in the factories, and everybody was doing their fair share. There was nothing. Bush cut taxes. He's the only president in the history of America to cut taxes during wartime. We had no connect. It wasn't like, oh, during the Iraq War, gas was $12 a gallon. Man, we all felt it. No, I mean, it got up to $5, in 2008, which just helped Obama get elected. And then he pulled troops down, and then just drone strike. I mean, it's like this war machine is just never ending. And now, with Trump in there, get ready for a draft. If you're under the age of 40, you might get drafted in the next 4 years if we are in some crazy armed conflict with Russia or China, or we roll through Iran or whatever they want to do. So it's pretty terrifying. And every American president, since FDR, has been doing this. Another reason I want to get an electric car. That'll solve everything. But I don't know. So it's something we all need to pay attention to. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Send me some comments below. And of course, like and share this and subscribe. The more subscriptions we get, the more likes we get, the more YouTube, it feeds their algorithm, and then they'll push these videos out to more people. So thanks for watching. My name is Graham Elwood.